with everyone,
Indeed.
not just a certain group.
Well, the conversation's fun. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. We're doing what we can to keep you guys entertained here, but this is our maps and modes layout. We did run a test lobby just a moment ago, and it was successful. So we're expecting the Rio hardpoint to come and grace us with its presence, hopefully very, very soon. And it looks like, based on what we're seeing on our secondary monitor, we very well may be good for it. Wow!
Here we go.
That was a time! Time to be alive! Ready to go. Let's jump into it, Jay.
Rio HP to start us off, guys. Got the fly-through coming in. Both teams ready to rock and roll. Gentlemates trying to set the tone early on. Take a page out of Old Mid Brooklyn's page and take that map #1 on Rio exactly the same way. But you are Cloud9. You need to show why. That 3 weeks of practice is going to play a big part to you potentially holding that trophy at the end.
Well, let's get it on. Cloud9, Gentlemates finally loading into Rio, map #1. All about setting the tone for Gentlemates, and Harry will find the first blood, but Kismet off the pitch with Hydra. That'll be enough for that really lovely shade of blue to grace us in the kill feed.
And that's already 3 in the feed for Kismet. We were asking early on if 99 Kismet was going to make an appearance. Starting off already 3-0 is perfectly way, as they are holding down this P1 with only 30 seconds left. You have Gentlemates, a couple players going on a route to potentially flip these spawns, and Vance gets the better of Hydra, so you just got to win these gunfights this time, and the spawns will be yours.
Oh, but Kismet's off to an opening 4 in a row, make it 5 before eventually being traded out. Cobra, again, that's that flex player that I was really keeping an eye on. A double for him as Gentlemates will finally start to get into the hard point, but Hydra following up keeps Cloud9 well within the realm of possibility of contesting this trap while also winning rotation.
Yeah, they have rotation already, and you already have Kismet pushing out towards Garage. He knows where the spawns are coming in. Want to make the rotation a little bit easier, but Cobra actually gets the better of him. So if you are Cloud9, you're sort of on the back foot because there's a lot of presence here from Gentlemates. Can you win these next set of fights, potentially work your way into the HP?
Yeah.
It's a 2-on-1 trade. Cloud9 have the numbers.
Oh, Denza off 3 in a row. Trying to be the last one standing for Gentlemates. He eventually does get taken down, and Cloud9 will stabilize in the hard point. Nades now starting to be exchanged between both teams. Cobra off to an AR here. Again, the flexibility starting to come through as he's got maybe an angle underneath the cars. Denza able to tally it for an elimination. Here we go.
Now still 30 seconds to fight for here. If you are Cloud9, still in control of the spawns. You want to combine these kills here. Try to be aggressive on the way out so you can potentially flip them all the way across the map, but this time is still great if you can have it. 20 seconds here, and now that at least one player in Cobra is going to spawn out due to the pressure of Cloud9.
Yeah, and you can see Gentlemate's very aware of it, kind of holding off this backsided push through the staircase. Wow, what shots those are from Skies. Harry absolutely melted. Trades, though, from Denza. Allows at least Vance to likely get some of the opening time here, but spawns are still chaos on the right side of the map. Gentlemate's trying to play recovery in the back.
They at least spot Kismet, able to isolate onto him, secure those spawns towards the back's end, but Cloud9 are currently in the hill early on, so even if your Gentlemate's in control of the spawns, you got to work your way in towards the HP. You have to trade effectively. It's a 2-to-1 trade. Make it 2-to-2. Still in control of the spawns. It should be theirs. And there goes Cobra with that double. Gentlemate's getting time.
Yeah, but the 50-50 battles actually allow Cloud9 to spawn closer. So now shoes on the opposite foot. Gentlemate's trying to hold from the front. Cloud9 trying to reinforce along the backside. Good moment here from Gentlemates as the spawns continue to flip back and forth. It just hasn't been able to be locked down. Both teams finding equal amounts of kills. And eventually for the back 25, Cloud9 will hold numbers as they try to soak up the scrap.
Yeah, they're still going to fight for this, but you want to send someone early off that rotation, so that is going to be Sib. Playing for that P4, but still the back spawns here for Gentlemates. Denza finds himself on 3 in a row. Keeping himself in this hard point, but you are forced to find a break here on one of the more difficult hills that we have on Rio.
Still, though, the setup, even though you've got Skies and Garage, is not exactly as heavy-handed as you would expect. Vance, though, does get taken down, and that immediately counteracts my entire point. Cloud9 now off to the races in the opening here at Garage. Pinch on the way from Gentlemates, but Sib is covering. He's on 5 in a row.
Yeah, 5 in a row with the SMG in hand. He knows that there's still going to be pressure on him. Make it 6. Cruise missile is going to be earned. And they are fully set up on this P4. You have control of boxes. You have both angles cut off, but with Hydra dropping, now it's an opportunity for Gentlemates to work their way around.
Oh, and Sib avoids the stun, hiding behind the arcade machine, and that's enough for him to now get on 8 in a row. Also gets a read that, yep, Gentlemates are trying to threaten over to the front side at ramp. Him and Kismet both alert to it and both dealing with it nicely. And yeah, this last 20 seconds, it's just being absolutely wrecked as Cloud9 continue to find their way in the feed.
Finally, Sib falls after a 9 streak. Cruise missile already earned. 14 seconds still to fight for. If you are Harry, big one-on-one gunfight versus Hydra, but he is going to get the better of him. So now Cloud9 breached that 100-point mark. They're already winning gunfights off the rotation. Gentlemates need to find something to stand on because the game is starting to get out of hand.
Yeah, really tough start from Bance. He's trying to get himself in the mix, trying to find himself that tempo and timing that you expect from a player like Denza, but 4-12 as a start with only 5 seconds in the hill really kind of goes to show you that Gentlemates are not getting their game plan off to any sort of success margins here against Cloud9.
Because right now, Cloud9 are covering a lot of their bases. You have AR players who are running the SMGs, stepping up in that pace aspect. Now, when you're winning those rotation gunfights about the fundamentals, it makes the game a lot easier. So 30 seconds still here at this P5. You have a pinch set up from Hydra, and that leads to a clean 4 dead.
Yeah.
All of Gentlemates spawning across the map, and Cloud9 continuously soaking up the time.
This has been really good from Cloud9.
Yeah.
Their coverage across the map has been significantly more forward than what Gentlemates has been able to provide. Yeah, there's been a couple of moments for Gentlemates off of proximal spawns, a couple of long routes that they've tried to hit, but largely speaking, Cloud9 are getting the reads they need at the perfect timings, and they're dealing with it nicely. Last 5 seconds will go to the game clock, but Cloud9 enjoying about an 80-point lead as we head back over to P1.
Yeah, and they already have control of top mid, so Caesar, Sky's bueno. Putting himself in a position to contest over towards his bridge side, only able to find one, but he gives the comms to Sib. He takes down the 3rd player, and now if you are Cobra, you got to play your life because everyone's coming off the respawn. You can't 1v4 in the hardpoint.
And just look at the proximity that Cloud9 have around the hill. You get a little bit of a threat towards Espies. Kismet pushed up in towards main lobby. It's just every time Gentlemates tries to get a setup, there's someone from Cloud9 in the way.
They're just playing a couple sets ahead right now, currently in this hardpoint. Keep in mind, they still have that cruise missile just in case it gets a little bit scary here at this P2, but they are holding down this P1 flawlessly. And the entire time, Cobra has stayed alive over the bridge. He finds himself on 5 in a row. He opens up a lane for his teammates to finally find a break in towards P1, but there's only 15 seconds left. You got to change it towards P2 now.
And I'll say, we can kind of hear a little bit of the players inside the venue. Cobra's popping, so he's trying to inject some life into this Gentlemates squad. 17 and 14, again, getting it done with both weapons. A good opener from him. Just need the rest of the team to start finding some more success on the OBJ.
Now, if you are Cloud9, you can take your time on this break because you have that cruise missile in the back pocket for Sib. He's going to invest it, and at the same time, Kismet is going on a route, but Hydra is going to fall to that team kill. But thankfully, he is going to spawn in towards the back out of the great plays out of Kismet, but perfect read from the Gentlemates, still holding on.
A little bit of pressure from Sib on the pinch, that's dealt with. Van swapping over to the MCW, starting to find himself a little bit more presence in the kill feed. Almost gets the turn towards Hydra, but still, Gentlemates from the front, doing the job the exact way they need to. Denza a little up and over, trying to find some success over towards the pinch, and oh, here we go. Now all of a sudden, Gentlemates starting to cook a little bit. 3 in a row, maybe looking for the full wipe, forced by Hydra. Trade is not there though, and Cloud9 with the closer spawns can fight for this last 18.
This is still great work from Gentlemates. You're not giving up the time, even though Cloud9 have the spawns for that P2, and now you're fully gonna allow yourself to be set up off the rotation to new. But Kismet cut his losses, and he's already found himself behind enemy lines at that new HP. I don't know if Cobra's going to be aware of it. He should, because one player in Harry is going to spawn all the way across the map, so someone's got to be doing something.
And this is just the benefit of leader's advantage right now for Cloud9, is that they can chalk 15 seconds of scrap and play for 20 seconds of new. But that told, Cobra was aware of it. Trades are decent. Harry trying to hold on to whatever ground he can. Doesn't fully work out as we swap back over to Bance, who cannot track down Hydra just underneath his view. So 160 and counting now for Cloud9. Gentlemates trying to set up a hit from the front.
This is where it gets difficult now because Cloud9 are fully set up. You had Kismet initially win that one-on-one gunfight towards the back end. You secure those back spawns, and then you get a clean 4 dead to spawn them all the way across the map. Kismet is not going to slow down, able to find another double in the feed, and the teammates are holding it down at that HP. That leads to a clean 4 dead, only 20 seconds remaining, and you got the rotations to new.
And I think, you know, we can look back on this map and spark note it and say it's moments like that from Kismet that has been the major difference maker. When you should be expecting trades, they're not coming. And with Cloud9's SMGs continuing to dominate the way that they've had, Hydra finds himself looking for a cruise, and that should be likely a nail in the coffin with that earn.
Yeah, you know it's only a matter of time before Hydra starts to spawn on in. Sitting at 26 and 19, 6th streak cruise missile in the back pocket. You're winning the rotation over towards new. Now you're switching up the angles, finding different places to get some couple kills. Make it 7 in a row. He doesn't plan on slowing down.
No, not at all. Over the 200-point threshold with still 40 seconds to fight for. Gentlemates getting split across the map, but they do win their individual 1v1, so maybe a chance to get over the 100-point threshold here and just avoid a little bit of early embarrassment. But all things told me, look at the Cloud9 scoreboard. 24 and 16, 26 and 17, 27 and 20. It's just everyone absolutely popping off for C9.
And look at the route already from Kiz. I'm pretty sure he is going to get spotted from Harry. So the cruise missile with this amount of a lead that you have, you are more than happy to invest it here. You're still up by 100 points, even though you're not going to get that remaining junk time. You're going to have the numbers off the rotation. Skies finds the first, and with only 5 seconds remaining on hold, Cloud9 win the rotation again.
It's going to be a hard break to break, dude. Excuse me, but 212.99. Gentlemates get over the 100-point threshold. A couple of players here over towards bridge side, but Hydra goes uncovered at mid. It's just the tempo that we're starting to see from Cloud9 is turning up. And we don't often see Hydra shooting bodies, but he's letting his EU brethren know about this map.
Yeah, he's sounding the better Frenchman. All right, this is just what I do. As Cloud9 are currently in the hill, they can still close it out here at this P5. They are finding every single kill in the feed. Bance was able to have himself a little bit of a moment to earn himself a cruise missile, so the stat line isn't that bad, but a team kill onto Cobra is, again, going to slow down the play.
Yeah, just a touch. It would be a heroic effort here for Gentlemates, and it just feels like the lifeline is coming to a bit of an end for them here in their effort. Harry doing what he can around the front. Good nade from Cobra. Does at least neutralize the time being earned, but again, it's just these forced 1v1s. Cloud9 continue to win.
They can no longer win it here at P5, but they have all the map control to go with it. Sib dancing with death around this bottom Eskies area. He knows that the pressure's still going to be on him. Not able to find a kill, but you're winning the rotation over towards New. Can Kismet find himself another miraculous 2-piece? He does not, but this is why you got a Hydra. Still giving themselves opportunities.
And this is, again, just going to show that Cloud9, when we start to get these 50-50 battles in tight spaces, they continue to come out on top. 2 players above the 30-kill threshold. Gentlemates trying to find a way to keep themselves alive, but it's Kismet for the final double again. 250, 108, Cloud9, comfortable map number 1.
Yeah, that was just way too easy right there for Cloud9. Obviously, initially to start off the game, you had Kismet find 5 in a row. That's a tone setter because you know it's only a matter of moments before Hydra starts to get his kills. Sib at the same time gets his kills. He went on a 9 streak, Hydra went on a 7 streak, 2 cruise missiles earned, and then when you find yourself up by as much as they were throughout the entire game, that's what gives Kismet the freedom to make the plays that he wants to make. Hit those routes, flip those spawns, pinch those spawns, and eventually execute perfectly on that map number 1.
And that's just, I think, refreshing, I think, if you're a Cloud9 fan, to see both SMGs taking over. Because like we said, and I don't mean to harp on it, but it was a point that we saw really come to life, was that it really was the Sib and the Hydra show, more often than not. It's been a while since we've seen both Hydra and Kismet take over the map. This time, we get an instance of what it could be like if they do pop off together.
Whenever Kismet and Hydra win together at the same time, like you said, they are a very difficult team to take down. Because you got a guy in an SMG in Hydra who is going to gun you across the map with that rival 9. Doesn't matter. He's super confident. But then when you're allowing Kismet to get his kills and then hit those routes, it just makes it so difficult for the opposing team. When you're coming off the respawn, you have to account for him. Even when you're set up off the rotation, you're still realizing, oh, I got a couple teammates spawning all the way across the map. Someone is making a play, and Kismet always is playing the perfect corner to execute that one-on-one gunfight. That was just way too easy for Cloud9 there in map 1.
I agree. And I think the thing about it is, in Kismet's role, kind of as the entry man, I think he had 27 total. 21 of them, I believe, were non-traded, if I saw that correctly. That's unexcusable, no matter who you are playing on the other side. Yeah,
and if you are Gentlemates, obviously a slow start to the game. You had Bance sitting at double negative for a little bit, but we know how Rio can get, especially if you're keeping that P3 mixing. You lose that rotation over towards P4, you're basically finding yourself down by 60 to 70 points because P4 is not one of those hills that's very easy to find a break on in, but Cloud9 setting the tone early on. They needed to show improvements in their hardpoint game. The fundamentals were there, the slaying was there, everything was clicking for Cloud9 in this mode, but now they got to show it again in Search and Destroy with no smokes.
That's the big part, and I know we talked about this in our long podcast that we had just a moment ago, but I think the thing about it is Search is going to look very, very different. Now, that all told, I still think that, you know, we kind of saw it with Optic in their first matchup with no smokes. It's going to force these Challengers teams to have to gun pro league players. Not an easy thing to put out there because smoke retakes had really been, I think, the big mantra, if you want to call it, the big kind of muse behind what a lot of the Challenger search looked like, especially in the last part of the year.
Yeah, even towards the ending of the year for the pro scene, like you had teams like LAG who love to play 6-star Search and Destroy because they were really successful at that smoke retake. Somehow, some way, Estrio will work his way on in, get a kill, and get out. That just doesn't happen anymore because over towards that A site, where the statue is, where you have top security, those gunfights are all on head glitches. And then you're going up against some of the best players in the game on that side of the map. So if you are Cloud9, you can see the smiles all across the faces. They're feeling fantastic after that map number 1. But I don't expect them to slow down here in this map number 2 because they dominated in map.
Yeah. Now, I got to kind of pick your brain here, you know, as the pro player that you were, and in some ways still are.
Oh, yeah, you know. All right.
How much do you look at this map and say that now all of a sudden opening utility becomes crucially important because there is no smoke retake available? You have to play more aggressive as a defender more than we had seen in the back half of the year.
I think for a map like 6 Star, when you're going to use that early utility, it's based off the information. But if you're able to gain that, you have to make plays on it, because we know on 6 Star, you're not going to find a lot of successful retakes through that mid connector.
Sure.
You have to work around security. That's your best bet about retaking this A site. So if you are Gentlemates, gain your info early on with attacks, but make plays instantly.
Oh, and how about making plays instantly? Early utility does land at mid. Cloud9 come away with the first 2 kills. Sib trying to force something, maybe trying to catch one more player off guard. Not going to happen, but ooh, how does that happen? Team nade comes through, and now all of a sudden we're blessed into a 2v2 situation if you're Gentlemates.
Denza and Cobra are not going to be able to read this play coming in from Cloud9. You got Skies and Hydra working their way around the pinch, but Cobra gets the better of Hydra. Now it's Caesar Skies, 1v2.
That's not even just the better of him, he turned on him. And now the last play over towards the backside elbow works out as Denza finds the 1v1. I mean, we didn't see the perspective of it, but believe me, you friends, on the minimap, Cobra was not the first one to take shots. He got a little turner topside fountain.
Oh, he said, wait, no one's sitting around this side? I'm peeking from top balk. We're working around the side steps. No one is watching, so they have to be going for a pinch. Thankfully, he catches the perfect timing onto Hydra, and shout out to Hydra for that round because he made it a lot easier there for the Gentlemates. Yeah. That team nade on the Kismet simply cannot happen.
How did that even happen?
I don't know.
Hard to say. But, hey, you take advantage of the mistake. Doesn't matter what level you play at. That is key number 1, trying to find a way to create an opening, and so far we've gotten that. So a good opening round there for Gentlemates, considering the fact that they were in a 2v4. Again, the blessings that come through help, but still, Cobra showing up, man. Telling him, watch out for this guy.
And you can tell already off the rip of that game that it's going to be a different look of 6 Star this weekend. Because usually it's all out pressure towards A. You invest that smoke grenade, but B side is wide open. And if you're relying on gunfights to win it, Cloud9 might prefer that side of the map. But early on the defensive side, look how aggressive they already are, taking the map completely away from Gentlemates.
Kismet able to get in towards the aquarium, and Hydra playing an aggressive angle over towards what was P2. And I don't know if Vance saw this. Yeah, shots at range are perfect for Hydra. Also alerted to the fact that there are more members nearby, but Kismet hits it at the exact same time, and the SMGs are swarming. That told Cobra, again, good for at least one trade, but now it's all down to him for a 1v3 and what would have to be an ace.
Yeah, and the bomb is also going to be down. Kismet loves to dominate around this mid-map area on a map like 6 Star. But can Cobra have himself a moment? Probably not, because everyone from Cloud9 were ready for that 3-on-1 engagement. Cloud9 tied the game.
Yeah, it looked like Kismet very well knew that the bomb was down there. It looked like he was staring pretty much right at it. So, again, aggressive defense. Not just holding off and playing for the retake. It's going to come with some risk, right? I mean, they're going to be taking some damage from either incoming nades or at least stuns. That's going to have to be part of the equation of when do we use trophies, how do we use them, especially when you're on the defensive side.
And this is going back to that Banks interview of not playing nervous.
Yeah.
You tended to spread the map right there in your very first round, gave up all map control to Cloud9. So that's 2 rounds in a row where they have set the tone early on. All out pressure on their attack over towards B, and then taking it away on the defense. Back to the attacking side they go, and preferring this B side.
2-2 split, and Bance catches a stun to the face. Harry over the top. Decent damage. Somehow had an angle onto Kismet, so that's at least a 1-for-1. Keeps us in a 3v3, and Denza starts to get aggressive.
Oh, this is perfect plays. Don't know if Cloud9 are going to get the info that he is in this position, but Denza is going to be in the complete opposite side of the map. Hydra gets the better of Cobra. You gain the info onto Harry. Now you just got to work this objective and watch all your aim.
And there's a lot of questions here for Gentlemates. I mean, the fact that Harry has to snap to see if anyone's at mid, I don't think they know that this is an A hit.
Yeah.
I think they think that someone from Cloud9 was still over towards the B side of the map, and that wasn't the case. So bad intel there as the bomb gets planted.
Yeah, Denza cleared out this side of the map probably 15, 20 seconds ago, but he was still thinking that the play was going to be on that side. Thankfully, you got a player like Harry who wins insane gunfights with only 12 HP on the Sib. Makes it a manageable 2v2.
This is the difficult part, though. You have to guess where the rest of his post-plant setup is. They try to double team out mid. None of those nades will land. Sky's taking shots, says, look at me. Denza gonna try for the ha. And hold on a second. Is anyone going to get here in time? Harry still holding the angle. Oh, and how about Harry? Okay, he's going to get 3 in the round. Most impressively, the opener versus Sid, but he keeps Denza covered for the defuse as well.
That's fantastic plays right there. I thought that Gentlemates were going to be late to the party because they read the play completely wrong. Still thinking that the pressure was going to be over towards B, but once they took control of statue, you throw your nades invested over towards mid connector. You get nothing to connect, but instead of Hydra staying around that area, he tries to team push out with Skies, and just the angle that they planted that bomb, just we're not able to spot it through mid-cut. So Harry takes advantage of the statue, gets the better of both of those gunfights, and Genomates take the lead.
And it very well may have been the case because we were only watching it from Harry's perspective. That nade thrown through mid connector didn't land for him, but Denza banked it a little bit further, so his may have landed. But most impressively, it's Harry on 4 in a row. And look at the setup for Genomates to say, you're not getting into our mid anymore.
Still spreading the map, though. No one watching over towards this B side. You can see already how aggressive Hydra is playing. He's going to cut off this B site single-handedly. The rest of the teammates are aggressive over towards this Satchel, just playing for the info, but you don't want to drop early.
Yeah, this delayed setup from Genomates on their approach towards A will always have them second-guessing what's over towards the Sky Bridge, but Harry catches Skies peeking through mid, and now all of a sudden they can try to maybe rewrap this. But Hydra says not so fast, and that's enough for Harry to say, nope, I got to find a way to get this 6 kill, get myself a cruise, and I don't like my chances of going up against Hydra in a corner.
And now this makes it a lot more difficult because they already knew that Sid was playing around this site, but they modified the timing to execute onto him. Denza in the 2v1 situation, able to isolate onto him. Now the bomb is going down. Kismet gets a kill on the flank. Now you know that the pressure's going to be on the back end.
Good shots from Cobra. Not enough to finish off Kismet, but the damage is tallying. That's going to slow down the retake attempt for Cloud9. You've also got Denza playing a bit of a passive angle over through mid. Good prediction from Cobra on one side, but Hydra is able to win the 1v1. So now we've got ourselves a true 1v1. Hydra moving quickly. Again, it's French on French action right here. 23 seconds on the clock. Cobra with both weapons at his availability, and that's the quick swap to the rival 9 as Cobra takes down Hydra to secure the round.
That's 2 rounds in a row that Cobra has gotten the better of Hydra. Makes the play to win the one-on-one versus Kismet. Realizing that the time is starting to dwindle down, Hydra has to try to hunt me down, and he puts himself on the head glitch, preparing for that hop-up. Perfectly executed right there out of the Genomates.
Cobra's 2 for 2 right now in maps right at the moment.
Yeah.
He's looked really good. Really impressed by what we've been able to see. Again, plenty of championship battles last year in champs for challengers, but this year has been a bit of a different story with all of his teammates from the Wobob squad getting picked up, but he's still able to provide some great looks. Opening nades this time once again. Tossed over through mid. Genomates do take a little bit of damage, but they do get control of U-Haul, which is what they wanted.
Want control of U-Haul because you want to save those utilities in the back pockets. You can potentially take them off of this site, but bad timing from Bance, not able to spot those guys on the cross, and then at the same time you have Skies working his way around the deep pinch, but Kismet is going to drop first.
Great isolation, however, like you said, bomb planted, and look at the aggression from Cloud9's post plant. Cobra able to battle off 1, but does he expect where Skies' position? The answer is absolutely not. So now Cloud9's post plant just has to worry about the retake coming over towards backside of security, and they've already read it, Jay. That's
Perfectly played right there out of Cloud9. Now it's going to be a 1v3 for Bance. He gets 1, but once Cloud9 were able to gain that info onto Cobra towards the back end, great shoulder out of Hydra to set up Skies for that kill. He realizes they're not coming from their base. They have to work in this pinch. So Sib jumps on the statue. Hydra works his way through the bottom tunnel. And that was just a very, very clean round after the post plant right there from Cloud9.
And even though we got ourselves a tight surge, we can still talk about this map in the same way that Cloud9 played the hardpoint. They're winning the map.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of map control, the percentages are heavily leaning towards Cloud9. Their ability to get aggressive on defense, and of course here offensively, they clear out the entire B side of the map. They use that to isolate Cobra, so it just feels like the tempo of which Cloud9 want to play at is working, even though they do find themselves down around.
Yeah, and Genomates, they are countering that perfectly because they're playing super slow. So they can continue to at least set that tone, or at least have a pace change up here, because I don't expect Cloud9 to run it down every single round. Another first blood onto Kismet. Vance finds it. Man advantage early on for Gentlemates. You can already see the team push developing over towards A.
It really does feel like the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object right now. It's just certain rounds don't cleanly go the way of one side or the other, but this one is working out perfectly for that, again, labored pace that Gentlemates want to play their offense on. They get the first 2 eliminations, and now a chance for a very comfortable 4v2 post plant. Nades through mid will alert that Banstead keeps his scope up over towards this cross, but the bomb does safely get planted.
So now into 2v4. Skies and Hydra forced to try to clutch on up. They would really love a smoke grenade at this point to make a little more mixy around this statue, because you're just going to fly into death. And that leads to Bance finding an ace on the round. He was 0-4 to start, but 5-5 on a 4th streak, the veteran having to play.
And that is legitimately Exhibit A of how different that retake looks with no smoke. Unbelievable. It's only, and that's the thing, is we're going to see a lot more first bloods happen in the first 30 seconds to try to control the map without having to play 4v4 retakes, which, let's be honest, that was the majority of rounds that we had by the end of the year.
Yeah, you just can't, you're not going to find a lot of success retaking over towards that A side if you're just trying to work through mid-connector. So if you are Cloud9, obviously we don't want to get picked off early on. Having the man disadvantage forces players to change their positionings, but Gentlemen starting to pull away in this search and destroy, but Cloud9 again matching that pace, all out aggression through mid-map.
And it's going to get a little bit further forward than we've seen previously for Gentlemen.
Oh
and another teammate coming through. Doesn't quite get around the corner, so Harry will stay completely covered up, fully healthy, able to isolate onto Kismet, who had the team nade from just a moment ago. And that puts this round pretty much out of question. I mean, 3v2 situation, and Caesar's been read over towards the B side of the map. Now it's just down to what Sib can do in the 1v3.
And now if you are a Gentleman, just try to give Bance this kill. So he can earn himself that cruise missile, but unfortunately Sib finds him. Lines up the shots with the AR, finding the headshot, but another team kill right there to Cloud9. It was Hydra on the Kismet first round. Then Kismet said, no, I want my get back, so I'm going to take you down this round. And unfortunately, an early first blood again. Right there at a Gentlemates, now puts them at game point.
And that was definitely a difference maker in one of the early rounds. I mean, that was a 4v2 situation gone awry. This one maybe a little bit more up to question, but let's just say that that was the difference maker in the round. We could be looking at a 4-3 the other direction, but instead now we've got a 5-2. And Gentlemates, again, they have been very patient on their offense, and they've caught Cloud9 in a number of first bloods. Let's see if Cloud9 change the tempo up a touch.
Oh, they changed it up completely. This time they sent 3 players over towards the statue side. Got both the SMGs getting aggressive on that side of the map, but Denza finds the first blood. Sib and Kismet effective on the trade, so numbers advantage Cloud9.
Harry able to see 1, make it 2 people on the cross, tagged, and he's being chased. And I mean, seriously chased. Stun goes down. Almost able to get the Turner, but Skies finds the elimination. Bans for 2, though. Looking on now, what is just a 1v1. And, well, opening shots are good. But Bance stays alive now off the regen. Kismet holding the corner, and Kismet takes the win. Cloud9 stay alive.
Oh, just a split second right there. If Bance would have allowed his health to fully regenerate, probably gets the better of him in that gunfight to clutch up in the 1v3. But Cloud9 switch up the aggression, this time from mid-map over towards the A site. They realize this is where Gentlemates have basically attacked us every single round. They have yet to work an objective over towards B.
Yeah.
So even though they get first blooded, they were effective on the trades, keeping their hopes and dreams alive, still in the search and destroy.
It's really been trading of the power pieces in this chess game through mid. Has been a lot of how these rounds have been determined. For Cloud9, I think they've probably lost more than they've gained, but we'll see if that continues to be kind of their priority focus, and yeah, it sure will be. Hydra going to be supporting Kismet, at least initially, for some opening utility. But Bans, I think, is the only one who throws a stun. He actually connects onto both, and now Cloud9 kind of have to force their way towards the outsides of the map.
Oh, and Denza is going to find himself in a good position. I don't know if he was able to spot Skies over towards that deep corner, but they're probably thinking, all right, they were aggressive. They've been aggressive every single round towards either one of these sites, but they forced the rotation out of Gentlemates. Now they gain the info that we have to work our way back in.
Yeah, and you can see they don't want to do that through mid-cut, so they're going to try to full flood it around the back. There is a trophy system still here, though, for Gentlemates defense, and a nade does land onto Sib. So no plant. Cloud9 trying to take a more labored approach, and it's not really working out for them 3v4.
And now you're giving them opportunities to hit these couple of routes. Hydra was not going to be prepared for 3 players attacking through the middle of the map. But when you're taking so damn long to plant this bomb, you're just allowing Gentlemen to slowly pick you guys apart. Now Kismet left in the 1v4. Does he have an heroic moment? No, he does not, and that is Gentlemen taking the search and destroy, tying the series up at 1.
Outside of the unfortunate team nades, honestly speaking, that was just a patient approach for Gentlemen that led to maybe arguably too many first bloods. I mean, Cloud9 were really trying to establish forward, aggressive tempo. Didn't really work out, though, all things told. I mean, a couple of moments where Sib gets caught off some opening nades, but looking at the first blood tally, it's 5-4 in opening first blood, so just one clutch-up moment needed for Gentlemates, but still, it just felt like that mid-play for Cloud9 was not finding the success it was meant to.
Oh, not at all, man. I felt like they were playing them disrespectful in this search and destroy, man. Off the aggression that they showed in map number 1, the way they were able to handle them in that opening hard point, they try to keep that same exact pace going into the search and destroy. Obviously, you got a bunch of team kills. That's not going to help you, but Gentlemen, they were like, all right, let's slow the game down a little bit because they got the better of us. We tried to play at their pace, and we just simply could not keep up. But search and destroy, without the smoke grenades, on 6-star, it plays a massive difference, and Cloud9 simply were not prepared for it. I know you dominated in map number 1, but you can't play them like that in map 2.
It definitely felt, again, not to just beat a dead horse here, but for Cloud9, it's not having to worry about playing for a mid-retake. Let's win mid early, and then when we do, we can now play the outsides of the map afterwards to avoid having to play through that mid-connector. I think the thing about it was, again, 2 different rounds. That's where the 2 teammates came through. We're at mid, so a little bit of maybe miscommunication or just miscoordination on how they were trying to approach that. And after those advantages were taken advantage of by Gentlemates, it kind of felt like all action from there, largely thanks to the fact that they were just completely blocking off all the outside portions of the map.
And if you're a Cloud9, you got to be quicker on your decision making. The rounds when they were playing fast, they already knew what they were going to do, but the rounds that they were playing slow, the decision making was slow. You take full control of that A site. You realize that they hit that rotation over towards mid. You gain that info, but you still are not working that objective. You still have a player playing for a kill. And then in 3v4 situation, you're thinking, okay, there's no way there's going to be 3 players approaching this pinch, but time was starting to dwindle down. Gentlemates, no, we're not going to retake through mid connector. We're going to try to take security control, and that catches Hydra off guard. That leads to the 2v4, then a 1v4. Simply no chance. Cloud9 got to be quicker on their decisions.
I will say again, opening half of this map, great stuff from Cobra.
Yeah.
Back half of the map, beautiful stuff from Bance, including the ace. So it's rare to find all 4 in a round in this title, and well, that happening has not just Hydra puzzled, but maybe even a couple of other Cloud9 fans. So Bance cooking with a little bit of momentum is good after what was kind of a poor start, not just to this map, but also the first. And a 1-1 count all of a sudden opens up this series, I think, overall. The only difficulty is you're going into a higher edge control, which, like we said at the top of the broadcast of this match, Cloud9 have been great on that map mode combo.
Yeah, the respawn slaying always from Cloud9 has been on the upper echelon, especially on a map like High Rise, where you're going to have players like Kismet and Hydra at times pull out that 3rd or 4th AR, because you know what you get a clean forward, Dad. You got to work out of the windows, work your way out of underground, and it's very difficult at times on a map like High Rise to play for those early segments. So if you are Gentlemates, I know you played slow and steady wins the race on the search and destroy, but the pacing and everything has to be a lot quicker on a map like High Rise, because you cannot afford to go dropping at the same exact time and then wasting 30 to 40 seconds to fight out of your spawn.
I think the other part about this, and we'll leave you guys with this point, we'll come back after the break and really break it down, is you need to know when you have an advantage, and you have to quickly make the decision to push through that advantage, especially with what the ARs can create. But it's been a long-winded series, even though it's only been through 2 maps at this point. We've got high-rise control. Shay's already sweating up here in the booth. We'll be back with map number 3 at the backside of the break. Don't go far.
Ready, set, go.
Welcome back to the Esports World Cup here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Shift with Study, and we are through 2 maps here between Cloud9 and the Gentlemates, tied up at 1 apiece. Dominant hardpoint for Cloud9, responded by a dominant search and destroy from Gentlemates.
Yeah, Cloud9 basically gifted it to them, though. Those 2 team kills were rounds that potentially Cloud9 could have taken away, especially round number 1. You find that early man advantage, you're in a 3v2, you get the bomb down at B, and then turns into a 2v2, and Cobra gets the better of Hydra to start off those engagements. So if you are Cloud9, let's just shake that one off, but you got to be prepared for every single map. Now going into this higher-ass control, you just got to do what you do best, dominate the map when it comes to the slaying department, dominate those power positions, and simply not allow segments to get away from you.
And I think more importantly, trade better in the respawn overall, especially in a map like High Rise where we know how quickly the map can flip very rapidly. So that is, I think, the important part about this is, again, tallying what the map looks like from an awareness standpoint, not getting too aggressive when you're not allowed to, or finding a chance to take the map quickly when there is an opportunity in front of you to do so.
And on a map like High Rise, it tends to put people in situations where they feel like they need to play for kills. Like if you get a clean 3 to 4 dead, you have 2 players pushing out towards a spawn, playing for those spawn kills, and if they find a couple, that's great. But if you don't, then you're allowing those guys to come off the respawn, get those initial gunfights, and then use all their attacks to bombard their way back into these points. So just got to be thinking about that objective in your mind. And as many segments as you possibly can, because offenses are not more preferred than the defensive side on a map like High Rise.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing about this, we talk about tempo and pacing, is that the question asked here is, can Gentlemates continue to play at the same kind of tempo when they have to play more ARs? Like, you don't get a chance to throw 3 SMGs at this map. You're likely to be throwing 3, if not 4 ARs at any given moment in time. So again, I put not just focus towards Cobra, but who else from Gentlemates may pick up that 3rd AR? Are we looking at Bands? Are we looking at Denza? Kind of hard to tell because both are notoriously dedicated SMG players.
I think I'm definitely looking at Bands, man. When he was running that SMG in that map number 2, he started off 0-4. He pulls out the AR, he goes on a 5-6 streak. So he's a guy that's definitely capable of doing both, and he's played this map multiple times throughout the season. He realizes that the AR presence is going to play a big part. You might just see all four players on both sides running that AR.
Be the case. Other updates in this group, again, this is just one half of it. The other 2 teams in this group are the Vancouver Surge and G2 Esports. And Vancouver, after pulling back a dramatic map number 1 comeback, 3-0 G2 Esports. So they will take on the winner of this one tomorrow. The lower of this matchup will take on G2 to try to stave off elimination early in day number 1.
Okay, so Vancouver already starting off on the right foot compared to Chance, where they fell short all the way in 2 game number 5s. Getting a clean 3-0, traveling all the way across the world to play some Call of Duty. Exactly how you want to start your tournament. But back into this series we go. All right, we're already into the control. We're going to have Gentlemates on the attacking side. Obviously, no trophy system to work with early on, but they're fighting early for this blue control.
Loving the idea of it. Trying to maybe get some helipad control alongside of that, but Cloud9, they get the positions that they want, and it's already 3 down. Denza, the only one to stay alive. And, well, he is not behind enemy lines. He's just trying to regain his own front line. And that'll be enough at least to come back, find the elimination on towards Gizmit, and at least Gentlemates will find some sort of success to get over towards A, but I say that with hesitation because they're still getting trapped.
Look at Hydra. He's just running around your spawn, already on 4 in a row. Denza is trying to stay alive this entire time, but Hydra is still going. Make it 5. He's trying to find an early cruise missile. Flawless to start this game. You were flipping the spawns, forcing them to work their way out through the bottom tunnel. And this is the ideal start for Cloud9.
Yeah, this is a bold strategy to say the least for Gentlemates to say, let's just ignore him and try to go through the bottom tunnel like you had mentioned. Some decent shots coming back. Hydra forced to give up the position, but he'll get the regen. Still looking for kill number 6, and there it is. A perfect start for Hydra. Almost finds kill number 7, but job done. Cloud9 holding solid. No success on either zone here for Gentlemates.
Yeah, it's 4 dead again. Now with only 20 seconds left, you're already down by 10 lives. Not a single segment to the name. And Cloud9 in full control of the map. Got Kismet setting up towards top heli. He finds a freebie. Sim again slowing it down with that AR presence. Another 4 dead. Yeah, Gentlemates, you didn't have fun in this first round.
Nope.
Let's just go into the next.
Yeah, chalk it, rotate, go next. But damage that's been tallied is more than just the dominant win. Now you've got no ticks of progress. You've got a cruise missile already built up, and it doesn't feel great, I'm sure, going into a round 2, having to match that if you're Gentlemates.
Yeah, and it's all about the initial push, man. You cannot afford 3 players to go down at the same exact time, because you saw Denza, he was able to work his way on out. He found himself in bottom blue with that SMG. He was ready to make a play, but when all of his teammates fall, he realizes, I'm not going to go to their spawn and play for spawn kills because none of them have fallen yet. I got to try to assist my teammates on the way on out, but just every single time, it was Cloud9 coming out on top in the trade battle. Now you're sitting up 1-0 currently on the map. Cruise missile in the back pocket. They go to the attacking side with trophy system to work with. So all out pressure towards A.
I was going to say, with the cruise missile, I kind of love this call.
Yeah.
Just get to A, see if you can get the early tick done here. I mean, because Gentlemates have to stay back up in their windows. Even that's being threatened. Hydra with the health advantage just pushes out with the pistol. And this is what I was worried about. Gentlemates just not finding the eliminations, not finding the kills, no trades anywhere. And that's already going to be pretty much the A zone done with now simultaneous progress happening at B.
Oh my God, all right, this has not been fun so far for Gentlemates. A little bit late to the party as you're already about to complete the segments over towards A. You at least get the second one done, but Skies is gonna fall. The second one is not complete here at this B point, because you already have Hydra working his way through underground. Thankfully, you got Gentlemates winning all the trade gunfights. Last player you have to account for is Kismet. How long can he finesse? Not long enough, and now Gentlemates have full map control.
Okay, moment here for Gentlemates to try to maybe push back after the abuse that Sip just found. So, a chance here. 58 seconds on the clock. A is not open for business right now for Cloud9. Still have to work for it. Sib on the cross, though, with a cruise missile. All it takes maybe is one more kill, and yeah, there it is. Chance for Cloud9 to finish the progress that they started on the A zone.
And they're dominating over towards this B street, and still, it's a 1-1 split. Both players trying to close out these final segments at both points, but that's where you have the numbers if you are Gentlemates to isolate these players. So Denza's able to find a double. Skies is trying to play his life as long as he possibly can for Hydra to try to assist him. And thankfully you got a Hydra. He finds a double and he's instantly on go.
And that will be round 2. I don't really know how else to say it. Extra 60 seconds after the successful capture of B. Eliminations are starting to come out for Gentlemates. And okay, maybe a chance to hold off just a touch, but Skies on 2 in a row. Does get taken down by a nade. The third tick not fully depleted yet, and now you got the cruise missiles being called in.
But Gentlemates, even though it feels like they've been getting outslayed to bits in this round, they are all tied up in lives remaining. You just cannot allow this last segment to get away from you. This next wave of kills for Gentlemates is everything, because obviously if you fall, you lose the round. But if you to get these kills, you take the map control right on back, and you could potentially force Cloud9 to waste a lot of time working out of their base.
Denza's been seen over the top of the A zone, but he's getting a lot of depletion done. But that's the problem. Caesar is able to find 2. The re-wrap through mid works out, and that should surely be it. 2 members on for the stack. Kill still coming out. Hydra popping up for a double, and the third tick not fully completed yet. They step off it for a moment, and then finally it will be secured. So Cloud9 comfortable, now up 2-0.
Yeah, that just looked too easy, even though it probably should have been a lot simpler if you are Cloud9. When you're finding all those kills on the map, I know it's cool and all to make sure the game clock is at a pause, but can we get a little bit of a stack going? Like, Caesar found 3 right there at the very end, but you still got Hydra playing for spawn kills. No, let's just hop the damn points and we can close out the game.
There's no way you're criticizing.
What are we doing?
You're crazy for that, bro. Sib literally was up and down on bodies, throwing.
Yeah, we're shooting bodies and stuff mid-game. Like, let's get the job done.
Well, here we go. Cloud9 up major. 2-0 up. A chance to possibly do it all here very quickly on a high-rise control. Hydra gets the first on 4 in a row for possibly a second cruise missile. And, well, Cobra will shut him down. So, okay, Gentlemate's not going to be put in the initial spawn trap, but still a lot of work to be done here.
Yeah, that's perfect, though. Great start for Gentlemates. Not all 4 go down at the same exact time. So you have a little bit of map control to go with as you're fighting for this control of this B street. Bance gets the better of Hydra, so you have elevator control, you have propane. Just gotta try to locate where the rest of these players from the Cloud9 are, because you already have Skies working his pinch, but Denza gets the better of him.
Okay, hold on a second here, Cobra. Staying alive on towards the B zone. First tick done. Second on the way. 3 members are stacked up here. Hydra takes care of 1 over towards the top side from A. Trophy systems are now being depleted, so here comes the pressure for Cloud9, trying to find a way to retake. Caesar up and over the top is going to take down 2, and the third tick will be depleted.
Bance falls at the same exact time, too, so that's a clean 4 dead. Gentlemates forced to work out of their spawn, and Hydra is bringing out new spots. Sitting on this hop up, you usually get to the top of this building. But he's just going to play this angle, hold down this left side of the map. He's only able to get one. How many more can he get? Because he's ready for the second gunfight, but Cobra gets the better of it.
And now you've got a 4-life advantage for Cloud9. Still just needed to kill off another 30 seconds of the time. And the cruise missile finds all 4. Yikes. Not what you want if you're a fan of Gentlemates, as now Cloud9 off their respawn can start to again threaten the windows. 17 seconds on the clock. It is do or die time here for Gentlemates to get to the B zone.
Yeah, they're not going to have an opportunity here because you have Hydra already pushed up into your spawn. All B street control in favor of Cloud9. 10 seconds remaining on the game. You got to stop the game clock.
Not looking all that likely. One more player trying to come over through elevator side. Cobra, no, shut down by the pistol of Kismet. And it'll be a very swift and convincing 3-0 for Cloud9. But let's be honest, again, that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, man.
Map. And we're seeing why.
It's just very, very easy for them when they're finding their kills. You had Sib start off the game hot, earning himself an early cruise missile. The same thing could be said about Hydra. And then when you're going clean 3 to 4 dead, you have to worry about coming off the respawn and already there's pressure right in your face. You're just simply not going to have a good time on a map like high-res control. It's all of Cloud9 smiling from cheek to cheek as they take the advantage again in the series, currently up 2-1. Basically a mirror effect of that map number 1.
Oh, yeah. And I don't even know what to go through in terms of not being able to trade is not even part of the conversation, but they just need to shoot back in certain ways. And you can see it here, 21-9 for Hydra through 3 rounds. 3,600 damage, only bested by Sib, who gets 3,900 damage and 9 assists after finding himself, of course, a massive cruise missile.
It's just a map like high-rise. Like, it's not going to be easy for ALs to try to work out of your spawn, especially with all the pressure that Cloud9 were applying on their defensive side. So everyone alongside on the side of Gentlemates sitting at negative. Cobra not having the best performance at 8 and 15, but it's just very tough, man. Yeah. We're in finding success early on into these rounds. You give up all the map control in favor of Cloud9. That's now 2 respawns, but they have just absolutely dominated this challenge's roster.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, I don't know how the veto process necessarily went here, but I'm sure Gentlemates are going to be reconsidering what this roster looks like on a map like High Rise. Because again, like just looking at them on paper and then like, hey, you got to run 3 ARs. I just don't love how they run 3 ARs. Hydra's got the ability to pull out whatever weapon he wants. He can just run around with a pistol if he wants to, and he'll still be fine for Cloud9. I don't know. There's just something about this Gentlemates roster that I just don't love the vibe of this roster on a high-rise control. Do you know what they vetoed?
It was this Cloud9 vetoing Karachi, and then obviously
you choose between Invasion and high-rise.
They didn't want to play Invasion.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we got to go back to the drawing board on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough, especially playing against this caliber of AR players. Like, we know what Skies is going to bring, Mr. Consistent, but then when you're also having to worry about what Hydra's going to do with the AR, what power position is Sib going to sit in, those are just not going to be fun at all when you're going to challenge those players. So now Cloud9 sitting comfortably up 2-1 in the series. They're going into a Karachi hardpoint, which is going to be upon us here pretty soon. Trying to close out the series in 4. So far, though, challengers are putting up some fights.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, you know, you look at a map like Karachi compared to Rio, now we really can sit and look at the macro gameplay. How prepped up is this Gentlemates team, especially when we talk about things like rotation. That's where all of the efficiency has to come through. I think especially when we get these back and forth kill feeds. We saw that a lot in Rio.
Yep.
Cloud9 were still dominating on rotation to get from hill to hill. That has to be better from Gentlemates here at map number 4.
Yeah, and on a map like Karachi, again, it's going to be about the presence of the SMG.
Yes.
To cause mayhem around the map as we are already loading in. I'm loving this. We're going back-to-back in it. As now Cloud9 looking to close out this series, start off their EWC 1-0. They're initially going to be the team in the harbor.
Indeed the case. Opening eliminations also good for Cloud9. Gentlemates trying to find some sort of breakthrough over towards red, but Sib is very avidly watching it. Advance will drop. So right back to spawn go Gentlemates, and Cloud9 are already accruing a lot of score here on P1.
And look at how slow Gentlemates are playing. They're realizing that all the map control is in favor of Cloud9. We have to try to find a couple opening kills. Thankfully, they win that control of top 3. They find 3 kills around the map, make it all 4. So the final 20 potentially is going to be theirs because they're forcing Cloud9 now off that rotation.
Yeah, not good in the opening gunfights, but good control using the Semtexes to find their way in. Even extra damage tallied right there in the Hydra makes the gunfight very simple for Denza. So just as convincing as Cloud9 were on their opening setup, the break is good. And Gentlemates now all of a sudden have maybe a chance to get Cobra through, but as Bance drops, now he's on a rogue mission by himself.
Just got to try to stay alive around this red area if you are Cobra, though.
Oh.
At least able to find one, but somehow, some way, Kismet wins that gunfight and it finds a second as well. So Cloud9 fully set up off the rotation. These kills can get very dangerous because if you are Gentlemates, you want to control this side of the map, but already a lot of pressure. You're going to spawn them all the way across, and now Cloud9 have an opportunity to chain this P2 to the P3.
Good follow-up kills, though, coming from Gentlemates. Spawns will be flipped back once again, but the opening 30 seconds is very comfortable for Cloud9 in the hill. Now here comes the presence from the front. Sid able to deal with one. Secondary fight on Denza will need to be coming through as well, and oh my goodness, that is just a crazy lock-on. Cobra able to at least trade things out to keep the hardpoint neutral, but Cloud9 off the spawn will get the scrap.
Yeah, this is going to be basically a flawless 60 hold here at P2. And Gentlemates has decided to cut their losses, set up properly around this P3 area. You do have Harry watching the overextension around Coop, but Kismet again finds an opening, and now you're just not going to be prepared for this. Or are you? Because Bance gets the better of him.
Well done. Long spawn for Cobra, so we're going to get a 3v4 if Cloud9 decide to flood this through the junkyard side. Denza not sure where the hit's coming from, and Gentlemates need to get a read. Perfect time to see how they're calming this one out as we jump into it. Gentlemates, listen in.
Kids close right, weak. Just one shot time, really weak.
It's one market.
Child not low dead.
Nice, kids time.
I'm waiting. You guys cross?
He's in time, Bush. It's challenge. Market out time. Ali weak. Square cutting, Probably going to
One shot on time.
I go church.
What are you doing? You guys go new?
I go church.
Yeah,
Sorry, top church. Big kill. Nice, well played. That's one.
one could be mid.
One on me. One on subbox.
Inu, dead.
Nice.
That's him.
There's one more spawn to you lot now.
Bridge and old. Bridge still pack.
If you're mid, dead.
They're spawning. They're spawning, boys.
One's bridge. The other guy spawned behind us. It's Kiz.
He's jumping.
I'm actually along the bridge.
Kiz is behind us.
I've got
Yeah, short to church.
Okay.
Yeah, first stairs, boys. There's two.
I don't see
One
church.
shot. Nice, third on me, boys. He's manly on me.
I need help, boys, in time. Kismet.
Granny's.
In shop. Went up.
Respawn it. It's fine.
Is he still Granny's? Make it time.
No, I killed him. We're good.
Stun him in time. After.
They could hit, they're right.
Actually,
Where's he on time? Bro, one on time. Sit
Back left, Sid. Back left, Sid.
One more shot.
One shot back left.
Stop church.
One shot back left.
One time. One shot back
Top
left.
church really weak.
What's top church?
Top church ran away. I'm Zuben.
No time down.
Jay, I don't know about you, but what I picked up off that listen is they're trying to find Cloud9. They're unable to do so. It's leading to a large gap in the scoreboard.
They're trying to realize where the spawns are, where they're coming from, where the pressure is going to be upon them, but Cloud9 are simply just getting the better of them with the routes. And when they find themselves with this amount of a lead early on into the game, that's what's going to allow Kismet to be a nuisance, to hit those deep pinches, to flip these spawns, because it's now 2 hills in a row with Gentlemates were early off the rotation, but Cloud9 got majority of that time.
And I think a lot of it, again, just kind of reprising back to map number 1. You've got individuals for Cloud9 trying to take aggressive routes, and they're winning the 1v1s to allow them to dominate the map. So just the trading game, not fully there. A weak start from Harry, the map just 3 and 10, and that's another moment where Kismet hits a nice time on the pinch, comes away with 2, looking for 3. Kismet now on 4 in a row, and Cloud9 should have still a chance to get more time here, but they're looking for kills.
Yeah, Gentlemates all the way across the map, but someone's got to play the objective if you're Cloud9. All right, Hydra, it's your turn. He's not going to work his way back towards his hard point. Still 20 seconds to fight for here, but if you are Gentlemates, second half of this game needs to be a lot better. When you're winning that rotation, that first wave of gunfights is so important. You have to win it.
It's just we need to see more concentrated effort, I feel like, from Gentlemates. A lot of this is they're trying to play Cloud9's game of we got to pick up these pinches by ourselves, and it's just not working out all that well. And, well, to make matters worse, you're even finding double kills off of nades in the mix. It's just one of those matches that you see there is a wide gap in terms of the individuals, it feels like.
Hey, man, pro teams are pro teams for a reason.
Yes, sir.
They're showing it here. It's now Cloud9 already in control of this P1. Only 36 points to Gentlemates' name. They're just simply not having a good time. You already have a lot of map control towards the slowers left side. You are forcing them to try to break over through red. All the focus for Cloud9. They know exactly where they're coming from.
Yep, and just to put this in perspective, if you want the numbers, Gentlemates had 20+ seconds on the P1 first time we were here. So we're dealing with 10 seconds of time throughout the rest of the hills to what we've seen so far. Just the objective focus has not been able to be there because Cloud9 is not allowing it to happen.
They're just taking the map completely away from them. Every time you're thinking, okay, 25, 20 seconds left, we're going to hit that little rotation, there's already a player from Cloud9 in a position to contest you. As they find 3 again in the feed. Kismet on 5 in a row. Sib on 5 in a row. They can win the game here at P2.
just not any trades coming through for Gentlemates. Spawns will be in the back, and Bance does take Hydra out of the hill, also shuts down the Cruise, but Kismet and Sib find kills, so now 2 Cruise missiles have been earned. Gentlemates will be able to get in for some much-needed time, but now they got to survive through the upcoming hit with the support of Cruise missiles if Cloud9 want to use them here.
And if you're Cloud9, you can hit this all the way to the very end with the amount of lead that you currently have. You're going to invest one of the Cruise missiles. Is it going to be able to connect on anyone? Yeah, it's going to be your teammate. Fortunately, you're going to not have the man advantage in this scenario, but you have one player in the hill currently contesting. Kismet only is able to get the better of one, and now Sib is going to at least make a final attempt at trying to find a break.
And his timing is pretty darn good. Also, see the doors pop, tries to get the pre-fire, but Denza shuts him down. 20 seconds to fight for. Gentlemates looking good for it, as Cloud9 don't really get the spawns that they want, so they need to play recovery here on the rotation, and they've got Harry in their way.
But Harry is going to get sniffed out by Skies. So that was the only player you had to find because you already put Kismet in a position to watch that back end off the rotation. So even though the spawns are all the way across the map, you still have a couple players here from Cloud9 still ready to contest it. Cobra gets the better of Sib, so they have the numbers off this rotation. You just got to work your way in the hill.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Bance trying to make his way around the back. Good help from Cobra. Gets Kismet out of position, but a team nade, unfortunately, slows down this hit just a touch. Cloud9 very aware that they're under threat inside the hill itself. Cobra searching for the kills inside the hard point, but Hydra stun does at least keep him in place. Nice little turn by Cobra. Now it's just time to find the last member inside the hard point. And, he finds him. There we go.
There we go. Still 75 to 223. 30 seconds still to fight for here at P3. Cloud9 can no longer win in here, but keep in mind they still have a Cruise missile in the back pocket, and the lead that they have, they're going to contest this all the way to the very end. But Gentlemates, gun's starting to get a little bit hot. They're winning these trade fights, going to secure this final 15 and potentially be able to breach that 100-point mark, but Cloud9 are not giving it up for free.
And I will say, again, just kind of comparing the first rotation we've gotten to this point, Gentlemates playing with each other a bit better. But now the interesting question starts to pop up. New hardpoint opens. Cloud9 winning the kills on rotation. Bance, can you open something up top? Yeah, sure can. So if he can hold his life, maybe a chance to use him as a pivot point, but Cloud9 get the quick trade and still a chance to earn time here on 4, pending they find one more elimination or two.
Only needing 22 seconds to close out this series. Cloud9 are just going to force Beers to just jump in the hill, soak as many seconds as you possibly can, but Gentlemates are starting to fight. It's 3 dead in the feed. They execute perfectly on the break. They're in control of the spawns. I don't know if they're going to be able to read that positioning out of Sib, because if you allow him to take top 3, you're not going to get any time out here at P4.
Well, they know that Caesar's playing deep behind this hill, but it's taken them a while to find him. Eventually they do. Trades from the front, though, come through perfectly on the timing of the pinch. So good from Cloud9. And with 16 seconds of scrap time, this will likely put this just a bit further out of reach than it already was. Cobra over the top of New, also drops a 1v1 versus Sib, who's still alive in the corner somehow. Sky's able to give him some support, and now off the regen, it's just Harry to deal with, and as he does fall, Cloud9 just need the last 10 seconds here.
Yeah, this is going to be it. Just one wave of kills to close out this series. Sib starts it off. Kismet effective on the trade. It's seeming like Cloud9 are going to walk away with this one.
And that's indeed the case, my friend. 250 to 94. 100-point club will be set into place. And it just, again, this Cloud9 team, you talked about, you know, maybe their weakness would be in hardpoint. They're really showing the coordination and the cohesion throughout the first 2 maps we've seen from them here in this series.
That was drastic improvements, man. And a lot of it is going to be shown due to the fact that their SMGs were finding a lot of success early on. When you're finding success early at that P2, you're finding yourself up by 60 to 70 points. Now you're forcing the opposing team to play catch-up. That's what's going to allow Kismet to always hit that goal button. He has to use this guy, Bueno, who's always going to put himself in that position to play for the W, but just the SMGs early on setting the tone, the ARs dominating those power positions. Respawn's just way too clean from Cloud9. Every single respawn was a smoke show. And they're starting off their tournament high.
Yeah, I think the thing about it, again, if you're looking at that from Gentlemate's perspective, because now you have a matchup versus G2 that you have to prep up for almost immediately.
Yeah.
You need to start figuring out, yo, what are our comms looking like? Are we playing? Because you even heard it from Bance, like, boys, are